Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Bob's Live. And I need to adjust my chair. Uh-oh, where's the... Oh, there it is. Hey, that's better. Had to raise my stool up a little bit. Anyhow, welcome to this week's episode of Bob's Live. Got a pretty interesting show this week because I am going to be starting on a massive project at my house. And it's something I could have easily glossed over and gave you like the pretty HGTV version of it. But that's not real life. So we'll dig into that a little bit later in the episode. Of course, as always, I am broadcasting on Rumble, Facebook, X, and YouTube. And I've got all of them up simultaneously so I can watch the comments. And you're welcome to follow at any of those locations. And then you can also watch the show directly on our website at bobsmarket.com/live. And there you can find the latest episode. I always post the page usually right before we go live. So if you head over to our website, it's always the newest episode there under that listing. And I thought first things first, we would dig right into this huge project. I've got three main things that I want to cover on today's show, and we'll jump into all those. This big project that I have is a result of something that I had going on in my life over the last little over a year. And, I'll talk about it in the video. So I'll see you on the other side. Feel free to jump in the comments with questions or anything, and then we'll pick them back up on the other side. Hi, John Morgan here, and today we're in my backyard. And you've seen my raised bed garden before. But over this past year, I was taking care of my father while he battled bladder cancer. And unfortunately, he passed in May. But that meant that I didn't raise a garden this year. And in fact, I really didn't do anything with my landscape this year. So everything has become overgrown. And sometimes life happens and we have to step away from gardening. So I thought instead of skipping over this process, I would share the process of recovering my landscape. And the first big project to tackle is my raised bed garden. And as you can see behind me right here, it is a mess. And it's going to take a while to recover and get it back to looking the way that it looked 2 years ago. So, there's no easy way around it. I've got to grab a weed eater and get started. So this is absolutely not working. I am burning through string like every 10 seconds. Basically, I hit something, the string's gone. And weed eater manufacturers figure out bump heads. They should work. You get like one good summer out of them, and then, it's terrible. Alright, so I'm going to try something else.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Time to go medieval. Got myself a good old bill hook here. We'll go at it. Oh yeah. Sometimes the older technology is better. A little hunk out of the bed there. That puts me about 1/3 of the way done, and as toasty as it is out here and as time consuming as that is, I'm going to call it for today on this. You know, I've got all fall and all winter to get this done, and it's going to take a lot. So once I get all this roughly cleared out, I got to clean up all that. Then I've got to deal with the mulch around the beds and the ground cloth underneath. So I think that's just going to be a time-consuming project where I've got to peel back the layers. I'm going to discard that mulch, probably compost it in a pile somewhere, and start over fresh. The mulch, it was needing a refresh anyway. It only lasts about a couple years. My plan was to put it on the raised beds, and that way it could naturally decompose into the beds. It has so much weed seed in it now, I don't think I will be able to do that. And luckily, it looks like most of the weeds that I cut down weren't really in the process of producing seeds yet, so hopefully we don't run into weed problems next year. One of the things that I did find, I got sweat in my eyes, that really burns. I did find this bird nest in there, and it might seem counterintuitive, but I do have areas of my landscape, one of which is right behind me right here, where I'm kind of letting nature do its own thing. So if anything, this summer, this garden gone awry kind of helped add to the biodiversity of my landscape. And as for the wild areas, we'll be addressing that later. I do need to do some cleanup there because I do manage it even though it is a wild area. So we'll dig into that in future episodes. But well, I think I got a good start. So until next time, keep growing. So that is the start of the process of reclaiming my garden. And yeah, it's going to take a while, and it is going to be a pain in the buttockers to do. The hardest part is going to be dealing with the thing that I hate, and I shouldn't have put it in the garden to begin with, and that is the weed cloth. I know that once weeds start growing on top of it and the roots go down through, that it turns into a mess. And I went ahead and put it down anyway. So now I've got to deal with that. And I'm thinking about a few different options. First of all, I've got to get rid of the mulch that's on top of it. I'm tempted to maybe put down another layer of weed cloth, fresh weed cloth, on top of the old weed cloth before I put down the next layer of mulch. Or maybe do I even want to go with mulch? I might go with gravel instead of mulch. So I'm kind of weighing my options there. So this also gives me a good opportunity to kind of rethink the layout of my garden and how I'm using it. And one of the projects that I've kind of had on the back burner for a couple years now is putting a picket fence around the garden. So that's another project that I might tackle this year. And this might be a great opportunity to do it this fall going into winter. Um, so, yeah, that is the start of a very big project that you're going to be seeing more of in the future. Also, I've got the whole rest of my landscape. So I've had a lot of work done at the front of my house over this last year. Affected some of the flower beds that you've seen me plant in the past. So I've got to deal with that. And then also, like the flower bed at the entrance to our house. I had a nice sign with our house number and everything. That got completely overgrown over the summer, too. So I need to work on that also. So we've got a lot of projects lined up for the future. And up next, I thought we would take a look at the current weather. And it is some beautiful gardening weather right now. It is in the mid 80s outside. It's partly sunny, and it is just a gorgeous day out. It was kind of damp this morning. We had some showers that worked their way through Mason County. I was surprised when I walked outside this morning and it was sprinkling. Uh, but yeah, looking at the forecast ahead, the rest of this week we are going to start warming up, and then this Friday into the weekend is going to be our next shot of rain moving through. And hopefully we get some pretty good rain because we really, really need it. Um, but yeah, it looks like the next couple days are going to be your best days to get outside and get some work done before Friday. I know after I wrap up here, I'm heading out to mow some grass. And then right now, looking into next week, it looks like it's going to clear up going into next week. Of course, you know, the further you go out on the forecast, the less accurate it is. Um, Let me find the mouse here. Along those lines, something that I do, if you want another up to date forecast, is going into every weekend, we are posting the Keep Growing podcast. So if you listen to podcasts and you live here locally in the Mid Ohio Valley, so kind of from Marietta down to, I would say, Huntington, Ashland, that area, if you live within that general region, this podcast is geared especially toward you. So I take a look at the weather forecast and then the upcoming uh, gardening almanac for the week ahead. So, what is the phase of the moon telling us about gardening? And then also, another is the West Virginia Extension Office garden calendar, and they have, you know, daily tasks that are kind of specific to our region. So that is another great option. And oh no, looks like our our stream's kind of freezing up a little bit. Oh well. Um, okay. All right. It looks like we're okay on Facebook, so maybe it is just a temporary internet issue. Um, Looks like we're okay now. Okay, that was a little hiccup there. About like Twitter last night. um, the next thing that I wanted to talk about, I've talked about our podcast, and it's the Keep Growing podcast. Of course, you can go over to bobsmarket.com/keepgrowing and find it, and it is on pretty much all of the podcast platforms. And the next thing I wanted to talk about is something that we've had going on Facebook for the last few weeks, and that is the Garden Olympics. So we started off with 16 plants, is split into 4 different categories. So we had annuals, perennials, houseplants, and vegetables. And then we did head-to-head matchups from there, and we have our 3 winners. So, there we go. So today I tallied up the votes from the last round, and in first place with the gold medal we have coneflower. Second place, silver, is corn. And third place with the bronze we have vinca. So those are our winners of the 2024 Garden Olympics. And I thought it was a pretty fun thing to do. I'm going to figure out how to make it better by the time the next Olympics rolls around. So that's something that we'll do again when we have another Olympics. And this last thing that I wanted to take a look at today is something that I did back in July. So every year in July, myself and other representatives from Bob's Market go to Cultivate, which is the largest horticulture conference in the U.S. And it's held right in our backyard in Columbus, Ohio. So I went out to it this year, and I'm going to share a few videos from it over the next few weeks. Tonight's video is just sort of a general video of the trade show. It is a massive trade show. If you've ever been in the convention center out at Columbus, the trade show covers the entire convention center floor. I think it's something like 10 acres. It is massive. And there are businesses and people there from literally all over the world. So I thought I would share just a little bit of the trade show floor just to give you an idea of what Cultivate's about. And then in upcoming videos, we're going to look at some more specialized things like the trial gardens at the Ohio State University. And then also the Franklin Park Conservatory. So those are both great things to do out there that you can do. So the trial gardens, they're open to the public. And Franklin Park Conservatory, it is a great place to visit whenever you're out there. So let's jump right into Cultivate 24. Hi, John Morgan here with Bob's Market and Greenhouses, and this weekend I am at Cultivate in Columbus, Ohio. And today I'm on the trade show floor, so let's take a look around. right, so that was a quick look at the trade show at Cultivate 24. And Cultivate has a lot of events during the trade show. So it's not only a trade show where, businesses can come together. So we go out to talk to a lot of our customers, but we also talk to a lot of businesses that we're customers of. Um, so, like the companies that supply like our control systems in the greenhouse, different things like that. Some of our suppliers of plants, like our trees and shrubs, we'll meet with them out there and kind of see what they have new that's getting ready to come out. But also, they have a lot of educational sessions, and I attended a bunch of those and got some great ideas on things that I'm going to implement coming up over the next year to kind of hopefully improve things like Bob's Live and some of the other video content that I'm producing. Um, just so the quality always continues to grow. And well, that is something that we're all about here at Bob's is growing. And that's something that we want to help you do too, is grow as a gardener. And yeah, I mean, head over to our website, check out all of our great stuff. So the blog, recipes, Bob's Live, the Keep Growing podcast, they're all tools that you can use to add to your quiver to help you sort of become a better gardener. And yeah, this is one of those areas where all of that sort of comes together. I try to theme everything throughout the week. And if you ever have questions or anything, feel free to shoot me an email. The best email to reach me at is ask@bobsmarket.com. That goes directly into my inbox, and it might just end up as a topic here on Bob's Live or in a blog post or somewhere. Um, I've been writing blog posts and making videos now for, I'm getting old, 15 years. Um, I was doing it back when it was kind of weird, making videos about gardening on the internet on this newfangled YouTube thing. Um, but that means also that I'm starting to run out of ideas myself. So I'm always looking for new ideas. And well, that is all that I have for this week's show. So until next time, keep growing.